It's day one of the nationwide lockdown 3.0 with some relaxations. This third phase of the lockdown will continue until the 17th of May. Under the new guidelines, the government has permitted e-commerce deliveries of all goods in orange and green zones. In red zones, however, it remains restricted to delivery of essential items only. Salons and spa services in red zones will remain closed. However, restrictions on these services in orange and green zones have been lifted. Liquor and pawn shops are also allowed to open up in non-containment zones with ensuring adequate social distancing of at least 6 feet and not more than 5 people allowed inside a shop at the same time. However, all of these norms, it's all up to the discretion of the state governments whether they want to keep these stores open or shut it down. Depends on them. The state governments have a final say depending on the severity of the situation. Now, in orange and green zones, taxis and cab aggregators have been permitted with one driver and at max 2 passengers only. Now, across of India, the ban remains on air travel, rail travel, interstate road travel as well, which will continue to remain suspended until May 17th. Under the new guidelines, movement for all non-essential activities shall remain strictly prohibited between 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. throughout the country, irrespective of the zone that they come under. Let's quickly go over to what's open, what's shut. My colleague Akshita gives us an explanation on what to look out for in your respective zones.
So as we break down all that you need to know about what's allowed or what's not in your zone, let's focus for the moment on the red zones. All the metro cities have been deemed red zones by the government, and that's why we're going to tell you what is open and what's not from today. There are a few changes from previously. Red zones were, of course, a lot more stricter, a lot more curbs. There have been a few relaxations, and we break that down for you now. For example, 2 persons with the driver are allowed to, in fact, go around in 4-wheelers. Also, 2-wheelers are allowed on the roads, but they cannot be a pillion rider, which means 1 person is allowed on the bike. You've also got SEZs which have in fact been allowed, export-oriented units, industrial estates, townships. All of that is allowed in urban areas, but keep in mind they're not allowed in containment zones. Besides that, also construction in urban areas is allowed, but that is only with the caveat that the workers stay on the construction site and do not move outside and interact with others, which will then lead to a spread again. Now, standalone shops in residential complexes, all of those are allowed. What do we mean by standalone shops? It means that shops in malls will not be allowed to open either. Now, another point that's important here is that private offices can operate, but they will have to ensure that they operate at minimum strength, and the strength that's been given by the government at this point is 33% strength. And besides that, all industrial, agricultural activities and shops in rural areas will be allowed to open. That is, even if it is a red zone, but it is a rural area, they will be allowed. Standalone liquor shops can open, but here's where the state governments have the right to also decide. Keeping in mind the situation in states, the government can decide whether liquor shops can open or not. Most of the state governments have decided to go ahead and give a nod for the same.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.